What the hell is crypto? I literally have no idea. It's already been 10, 15, 20 years, however long this situation has been alive on planet Earth. If someone came up to me and said, "What is this crypto?" If I don't know. It's some internet magic where people make millions of dollars and then brag right to your face about it. Well, I'm here joined with a self proclaimed expert who's invested a sizable chunk of his life savings into crypto. A sizable chunk. If you heard the number, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, that's substantial."
Not bad.
Yes. And maybe it's going to fail and collapse. He's going to be crying in the corner for 2 months after it all fails. Maybe. But it doesn't look like it. Because also, by his advice, he told me, he berated me for months. You need to invest in crypto. The crypto. I heard crypto every single day. And in his Discord server, crypto, everybody, crypto, crypto. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do this. I have a few dollars in my trading account. I invested. And today I just checked, I'm 41% up. 41% of my initial investment. So in hindsight, maybe I should have invested more. So that's the whole idea, my friends. Crypto. How can you make money on crypto? That's the most important thing we're going to discuss. How are you going to make money on this? I don't care what crypto is. Hey, can I make money on this? Can I squeeze more rectangular pieces that I can exchange for food? Yes, I can. We're going to discuss this. So how to make money on crypto? We're going to ask the expert here. So first, share us who you are, what gives you this credential, how do you know crypto, what gives you the expertise to talk about the subject, what makes you an expert in crypto. Welcome to the
First
show.
of all, shout out to Shiva, Kailash, Shambho, everybody. Great introduction. Questions and answers. You said I was muted. Let me know if I'm still muted. I just unmuted myself. Let me know how this sounds. Everybody who's I see we got some viewers. Everybody who's in there, leave a comment, hit a like, do something, hit a heart for us. I am Los from Scary Hours Podcast, so go ahead and subscribe to my channel. This is my homie Shiva Kailash Shambho. Subscribe to his. We both have our own Discord servers as well, where we talk about crypto, amongst many other things, dating advice, life advice. Shiva can give you his readings, spiritual on your chakras, and I can yell at you and tell you what you're doing wrong. Either way, join our Discords. We have links. We're going to have links in our profiles. I have links in my community post sections, and I'll also have links in all of my pre-recorded videos. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on my lives. I might add it on there as well. But anyway, good to see you, everybody. So yeah, crypto. You said, Shiva, your question to me was what makes me.
Yeah, first of all, tell us your background, your authority. What gives you the right to talk about this in the first place? Your credentials.
So basically I started off like everybody, right? And I think even now everybody is still, when I talk to most people about crypto, they're very skeptical about it, just as you were when I first talked to you about it, even though now it's been out for like 16 years, 12 years, something like that. It's had many cycles, and it's still in its very early stages. And so I ignored it for many cycles. So let's say if there's crypto runs in 4-year cycles. It's already had 3 or 4 cycles. I ignored it each time. But each time I ignored it, I saw that people were making lots and lots of money. And I'm pretty sure you saw the same thing, right? So every 4 years, for some reason, crypto would pop up and then it goes away, and then you don't hear about it for a while. And then it pops up and it goes away. Those are the cycles, right? And so I ignored it for like the first 3 cycles. Because the first cycle I saw it, I said, this is just a fad. This is, stupid. It's just going to go away. What the heck is this? We already have digital money. My money's in my bank account digitally. I can send it through the phone. What's the problem? What's the big deal, right? And this is never going to catch on. Then the second cycle came, but I saw a lot of people make money, right? And I was hating, and I was like, whatever. I'm not going to let it bother me too much. Then 4 years later, the second cycle came around. Saw it again. I said, well, I thought this was gone, right? But it was there again. Again, I started seeing people making money. I was like, ooh, like kind of hating again. Then it crashed again, and people stopped talking about it for a while. Another 4 years later, came up again. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to ignore it this time. I'm not going to ignore it this time. I'm going to actually learn about it and then try to actually make some money along with everybody else, right? So what I did was I joined a course, and I want to give a shout out to the course. It's actually these two guys that you guys, I want you to follow them. It's Dollar Cost Crypto. That's one guy's channel, and the other guy's channel is Cultivate Crypto. So they each have their own separate channels. They go live almost like every day or every other day, and they give you a market update. But these guys, on top of going live, they also have a course. So what they do is they go live for a month or two, and then they start a course whenever they think it's the appropriate time for you to jump into crypto. So they start their courses anytime crypto hits a low where they think it's a good buying point. And then so what happens is that kind of incentivizes. So they give you the same exact information when they do their free recordings. But when it's time to buy, they go into where they stop doing the free live feeds and they do their courses. And then only the people who pay for their course get the information on what coins are good to buy at that point, where we are in the market, and then like daily market updates type of deal. Not daily, but like, I forgot if it was daily or not. I don't remember. But anyway, they give you regular updates, and then you can kind of decide what to do. It's a really good course. And so I took the course back in February. And ever since I took their advice, I'm pretty much where Shiva's at. I'm up 50% on everything. Obviously, I invested more than Shiva did probably. But anyway, it's worked out. And according to what they're saying, we're just getting started. So where does my expertise comes? It comes from basically listening to them. So I listen to them. When you join their course, they teach you from A to Z, everything you need to know about crypto, all the basics to all the way to the advanced stuff. And then just from listening to their free stuff constantly, they're also always teaching you every single day. So just doing that since February up until now, and then also my own experimentation, I feel like I got a pretty good handle now on how crypto moves, what the flow is, what the rhythm is, when are good entry points, when are good exit strategies. I've also gone on their channel several times, and when I have specific questions, I do super chats to get my answers, to get my questions answered, and I've gotten a lot of good information from it. So I feel like I have a pretty good handle on it at this point in time because of that.
Someone asked, let's say you have $20 or not much to invest. You don't allocate too much money to this, but you have 20 bucks or some pocket change. Is it enough to invest? And what would you do? Where would you invest this? What would you recommend?
So essentially, the way that crypto works is that you have your safe crypto, the safest one being Bitcoin, right? The safer a crypto coin is, the less multiples you're going to make. And I hope everyone understands what I mean by multiples. So a multiple in this case is what I would say is like how many times you're going to double your money. So let's say if you put $20 in, let's say you do one multiple, then you would have $40 at the end. If you do two multiples, then you'd have $60. If you do three, then you'd have et cetera, right? You understand? So the safer the coin, again, the less multiples you're gonna do on each 4-year cycle. Okay. So if I had $20, personally, I would do the riskiest thing. I would put it in the riskiest possible coin because the riskier the coins, the more multiples you're gonna do. So something safe, just to give you an idea, something safe like Bitcoin is probably only going to at most double or triple your money after maybe like anywhere between the next 6 months to a year. So if you think about waiting 6 months to a year and you put in $20 and you put it into Bitcoin, yes, it'll be the safest thing for you to do, but then you'd only walk away with $20 more than you started. $20 to $40 more, so you'd walk away with let's say max $60 or $40. So I wouldn't recommend that. if you had $20, I would look for the riskiest project, which I would recommend something like PLS or PLSX or PHEX. Now, the thing about the riskier coins, though, is that they're not usually listed on mainstream exchanges. So personally, I use Coinbase, Kraken, and Crypto.com. Those are the three apps on my phone. Those are mainstream centralized exchanges that you can buy all sorts of crypto on, but usually they only list the safer coins. They don't really list the risky coins because obviously they want to keep a good reputation on their end, right? So to get the riskier coins, you're going to have to get a MetaMask wallet. I would do some research into that, but it's pretty easy to do. It's just a Chrome extension. And you're going to want to just watch a couple of videos. It's also all going to depend on what country you're in. So Shiva, you're in Canada. What app do you use to buy your crypto?
I use an app called Wealth Simple.
Wealth Simple. Okay, so I never heard of that. I'm here in the States, so we have different. Every country's going to have different apps. So I would just do a quick Google in your country. What are the top three crypto apps in your country? And it'll tell you. Um, and then I would also say join the Discord. That's another shameless plug. Join the Discord. Go to my Scary Hours podcast, and I can give you some more specific information. But again, it would just be a matter of getting the most riskier coin. And right now, I'm recommended, like I said, PLS, PLSX, or PHEX. And again, this is all based off of the information I got from Dollar Cost Crypto and Cultivate Crypto's channels. Yeah. I hope that answers
You
your
said
question.
something interesting. You said that there's a 4-year cycle. So tell us what the cycle is. Why are there cycles? Is it something that is unique to crypto? How long is the cycle? When does it repeat? And how can you take advantage of it, most importantly?
So yes, so crypto basically first I'll explain the reason why there's a 4-year cycle. Okay. So the way that the money flows in the crypto market is that it follows Bitcoin. Okay. So you know this, Shiva, from I guess I'm assuming you've looked around at this point. There's thousands upon thousands of coins out there, right? But Bitcoin is the one with the most market value currently. It sits at the top. It's like buying, I don't know what stock is at the top of the stock market right now, like Nvidia or something like that. It's like the Nvidia of the crypto world, right? So the rest of the rest of the crypto market follows the Bitcoin cycle. And what happens is that Bitcoin is programmed, it's designed to have what's called a halvening every 4 years. Halvening meaning half, right? And so what happens every 4 years with Bitcoin is that the amount of supply output that is allowed every 4 years or every year or every 4 years drops by half. So I'm pretty sure, Shiva, you're familiar with the concept of mining or minting coins, right?
Yep.
So if you have a certain computing capacity, you can mine Bitcoin, you can produce Bitcoin, and it goes out into the open market for people to buy and sell it, right?
Mm.
And so that's what increases the supply. And so if you know basic economic rules, supply and demand are correlated, right? The more supply, the less demand. The less supply, the more demand, right? In other words, the more supply there is of something, the less it costs, right? And the less supply there is of something, the more it costs. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So because Bitcoin has a halvening every 4 years, the price goes up every time there's a halvening every 4 years. Okay. And so what ends up happening though is that because Bitcoin is the safest, for example, me and you, because we're basically poor, we don't invest in, I wouldn't recommend anybody who's poor to invest in crypto because, again, you're only going to double your money at the most or triple at the most. So it's not worth it for you and I. But if you're extremely rich, doubling or tripling your money is a very good investment, right? Especially if you can do it within a year. So what ends up happening is these rich people, they put their money into Bitcoin every 4 years, very large amounts, which is what makes it go up a lot every 4 years when there's a halvening, right? And then what they do is whenever they feel like Bitcoin has reached its peak, they go down the risk curve to the next biggest coin, which is Ethereum. Okay. And then so they sell their Bitcoin, which makes Bitcoin price crash. And then they put their money into Ethereum, and then Ethereum goes crazy. And then whenever they feel that Ethereum peaks, they go down the risk curve and they put their money down to the next thing, which in this case is Solana. And then when they feel like Solana peaks, they go down the next thing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You understand? So this is why all of crypto follows Bitcoin, because Bitcoin pumps first. Then when it peaks, the money goes down the line. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I hope that answers your question.
So, all right, we're all poor and we want to invest in crypto. We want to make a lot of money. So, when do these happenings happen? Are we too late? And do you have to wait another 4 years for this to happen for you to start investing in crypto?
So if I remember correctly, the last one just happened either, I think it was February or March. I think it was March, if I'm not mistaken. It just happened. Okay. And so the bull run, I don't know if you know what a bull run, do you know what a bull run means? So for anybody who doesn't know, a bull run is when there is a trend of the prices going up. So the bull run for crypto actually started. It's so you got to understand, people try to anticipate this happening situation, right? And actually, they don't have to. They don't have to guess. They know when it's publicly known when the happening happens. It's just every 4 years, right? So what happens is a bull run for crypto usually starts like a year before the actual happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So technically, we're already a year into the bull run. So at the beginning of this bull run, this is when Bitcoin was around, I think it had gone as low as 15,000. It went from like 60 to 70. I think it was at like 70. I think it was at like 70,000 at the last bull run. And then it tanked. It went down to like 15. Okay. And then from there, a year before the halvening, people were like, okay, the halvening's coming up. I'm going to start buying these low prices so that I can make a lot of money. And so basically, that would have been the most optimal time to get in. I missed it. So did you. So did everyone else. So did most people. Because when these crash, like think about the price went from 60, 70,000 down to 15. So it basically had like 80, 90% crash, right? And so most people at that point, they think, oh, crypto's over. I'm never doing this again, especially if they don't understand the 4 year cycles or know when to sell. Imagine being up 20, 30% and then you just lose all your money. Because when it tanks fast. And you usually need to have a mentor to tell you when to sell and how to, like, what's your good exit strategy. So we missed half the bull run already. So did I. You missed even more half than, like, you missed like more than half than I. You get what I'm saying? I missed half. You missed like not three quarters. You missed a little bit more than half. You still technically could have half of the bull run still left in your case. Um, However, because of geopolitical situations, when we started the war with Ukraine, and whenever that escalated, and when Trump almost got unalived, and when Hamas and Israel started getting into a situation, we had a really big dip And so even though you missed half the bull run, Shiva, you were actually able to get in at a very similar price that I got into, if that makes any sense. That's why we're both up like around the same, like 50% at this point. So you're not too late. The geopolitical situation kind of saved you, even though you got in late, but uh, you still got in at the same price that I did. So no worries there. The only caveat to that is that the bull run is going to end for at the same time for both of us, and the difference is going to be that I would have been in since February, and so I technically only have to wait until February to sell if I want to lower my tax burden. Because that would make my year complete. And I don't know how it is in Canada, but basically in the United States, the year after a year, you pay long-term capital gains. I'm sorry, I don't know how it is in Canada, but yeah, oh yes, I did it. Yeah, here in the United States, after a year, you pay long-term capital gains. Before a year, you pay short-term capital gains. Short-term capital gains is like double what long-term is. So that's the only difference. So because you got in late, and let's say the bull run ends in June, you're going to pay short. I don't. Do you have short-term capital gains in Canada?
Probably they all want to take taxes, so I wouldn't doubt it if they did.
Okay, so you're gonna what I would do is make sure just look up in Canada what the rules are like for short-term versus capital versus long-term capital gains, and just see what the time frame is. If it's like us, then it's a year. So in my case, by the time I hit February, I can get out with long-term capital gains. In your case, I'm pretty sure no matter what, no matter how long this bull run goes, the coaches that I'm following right now are saying it can go anywhere from June. It'll end in either June or the end of next year, towards the end of next year, like November, December. So by either one of those times, I'll already be past a year on most of my entries. And so that's going to be kind of like the bad side on how late you got in. But whatever, you still make money.
Yeah, just quickly tell us what is the difference between short-term and long-term capital gains, monetarily wise, in the United States.
So again, this is going to depend on your personal jurisdiction. So like here in the States, it's income based. So short-term capital gains you get taxed pretty much exactly as regular income. So whatever your tax bracket is, you get taxed that amount. And so if you make, like, let's say in my situation, if I make a whole bunch of money, then I'm going to get taxed a whole bunch because I'll be in a higher tax bracket. If I make a little bit of money, then it's not really a big deal. You get what I'm saying? It's tax brackets they go up. You get, I think the smallest one is like 20%, then 30%, then 40%, then 50%, etc. With long-term capital gains, there's a similar thing, but you pay less. I think it starts off at like, I don't know, like it could even be close to zero. Uh, but it still goes up, but not, like I said, it's a lot less.
So tell us this, because I know in gold, when bad situations happen on planet Earth, for example, the situation happened in 2012 when people got sick, the price of gold skyrocketed. Everybody wants to hoard gold. It's a valuable asset. Does something like that happen to crypto? When should we start investing in gold? I mean, in crypto, does it follow any kind of, is it the inverse of that? Is it the opposite of that? Some tips you can offer us.
It's interesting because so I'd say currently it's the inverse. Typically, right now, gold is still seen as the safest thing to be in when there is geopolitical issues. Everyone takes their money out of stocks and especially crypto. Crypto is still seen as the riskiest thing you can be in,
Mm.
which is why there's so much volatility in it. Because people they will sell it in a heartbeat if something goes wrong. However, it also depends on what the geopolitical issue is, right? So, for example, I don't even know if I should talk about this because Anywho, so for example, I'll give you an idea. So how can I say this in a kosher way? So you know the United States is currently the world reserve currency, right? The U.S. dollar is the world reserve currency. So whenever people trade with each other, whenever countries trade with each other, when they sell each other oil, when they sell each other steel, whatever, most countries don't want the currency, like let's say from like some third world country. They don't want that currency, right? So what they force each other to do is they say, no, before anything happens, uh, exchange your money into the US dollar and then I'll sell my goods to you. So they only sell to each other in US dollar, right?
Yep.
And so, again, I'm trying to word this nicely. Um, because everything gets traded in US dollars, the United States has the ability to put sanctions on people and on countries. Does that make sense? Because it's our dollar, right? And so if you have a bank account that has US dollars in it, then it's easy for the United States government to put a sanction or to basically put a hold on your bank account, even if you're another country or another person in another country, whatever, because you're using our money. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And so, for certain geopolitical situations, let's just say imaginary country A gets a sanction by the United States, they then can switch over and say, well, you know what? We're no longer going to do trading in US dollar. We can now do trading in Bitcoin. That geopolitical situation would make Bitcoin go up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
And this is actually something that a certain country did. It's the country next to the one that you were born in. So I know you know what I'm talking about. They
The
actually did that. They actually did that this go around when they got sanctioned. They went and they opened up the channels of trading with Bitcoin, and then that caused their economy to actually go up. And so, even though they're in the middle of a conflict, their economy is actually doing better than what it was before the conflict
wow.
because the price of Bitcoin has gone up since then, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, but also recently that country, I'm not going to name it, uh, that country has recently started to create laws around crypto that are favorable to the crypto community. So that president from that country recently made the cryptocurrency a legal asset in the country for all of its citizens at this point. Um, for example, another geopolitical thing, El Salvador. So I don't know if have you seen the recent situations with El Salvador?
Yeah, briefly, but I know that they're into crypto.
Yeah, so the I forgot the guy's name, the president's name there in El Salvador, but he basically this Bukali or something like that. He decided that he was going to use his national treasury to buy crypto every so often. I think every month or every on a certain schedule, he was going to buy crypto no matter what, and he's pretty much said he's going to do so forever into perpetuity. He's just going to buy Bitcoin and leave that in his national reserves, right? And so he started doing that like 2 or 3 years ago when crypto was at its lowest, when Bitcoin was at its lowest. And so now imagine Bitcoin used to be this thing where nerds only used to buy, right? Like you had to be a super nerd to be into crypto. Is you know it's very hard to understand technology. So it was always on the fringes of society. But now you have uh, actual countries, established nations, presidents making policies around this crypto thing. It's starting to become mainstream. So like I said, El Salvador's economy skyrocketed because of its policy around Bitcoin. The current incoming president for the United States, who will also now be named, has also said the same thing, that he's going to also do the same thing in the United States. He's going to also, because he's seeing it happening. He's seeing the country next to yours do it. He's seeing El Salvador do it. And so he's basically saying, okay, if that's the game that we're going to play, then the United States is going to play it better than everybody else. Because if everybody's going to go to crypto and the U.S. dollar no longer becomes the world reserve currency, then we'll just have the most Bitcoin at that point, and then we'll still hold all the power. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Trump actually spoke at the last Bitcoin conference that happened. It was a couple of months before the election. Nothing like that had ever been seen. Again, Bitcoin conference was usually only ever attended or seen by just a bunch of nerds. But now you had the president of the United States attend and he was one of the keynote speakers at the Bitcoin conference this year. And he made a promise to everyone at the Bitcoin conference that he was going to. So the United States currently has a reserve of Bitcoin, currently a pretty large one, because what they do is, as you know, Bitcoin or crypto was used especially in the beginning, it was mainly used for nefarious reasons. You know that, I'm pretty sure, right? And so what ended up happening is whenever let's say, I don't know, the FBI or the feds or whoever would capture a criminal, they would also seize their crypto, right? And then when their crypto got seized, it got put into the U.S. Treasury, right? And so the United States already holds a substantial amount of Bitcoin, but I don't know if you heard. Did you hear about like Germany? They had a similar situation, but they sold all of theirs. Did you hear about that?
No.
So maybe I think this happened like 6 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. Bitcoin, Germany sold all their Bitcoin. Like the Bitcoin that they had, they just sold. Like they had seeds from criminals, they sold it. They were like, "What are we gonna do with this crap? Let's just get rid of it." If they would have held it, now that Bitcoin, think about it, would have doubled, and it would have like doubled or tripled in price by now. So it would have actually grown their economy significantly. So huge L for them on that one. But Trump on the opposite end, when he spoke at this conference, he promised everyone that not only would he not sell any of the Bitcoin that we currently have, but he would also make the United States the number one producer, minter, miner of Bitcoin, and also purchaser of Bitcoin. And so if you think about this, let's put these two things together. We just had a halvening, so the supply just went down by half. And now you have the world's largest economy, the United States, promising to become a purchaser, the largest purchaser of Bitcoin. So you can understand what potential there is in there for massive explosion of the price of Bitcoin. Because now think about it. Think about it. So El Salvador did it, right? Actually, I think Pennsylvania currently is also doing it. There was another country that I forgot which one it was that also started doing it. Now you have the United States doing it, world's largest economy. So now imagine when you see the country like the United States go into it, what do you think the other countries are going to do? They're just going to follow suit. So it's just going to become it's going to be a race. And the other crazy thing about Bitcoin is that when it was programmed initially, it was programmed to have a limited supply. I forgot what the amount was. I think it was like 21 million. So 21 million Bitcoin will only ever exist at a certain point in time. That's the amount that can only ever exist. So unlike, hey, I gotta be careful how I say this again. So currently we live under a fiat currency system, right? And it can be printed whenever the reserve The, right, whenever the reserve feels like printing more, they can print that, right? And I hope you catch this point, but whenever you print more, that makes each dollar worth less, right? We call that inflation. So you can't actually do that with Bitcoin. There is no printing more. You can't do that. So once all of the supply is out, it's over. And so again, once all the other countries realize that the United States is in the game, that's it, game over. It's no longer going to be on the fringes of society. It's now mainstream, and other countries are going to want every other powerful country is going to want to do the same thing. Um, and then it'll just eventually run out of supply, and then the price can do nothing but go up, because then there'll be, as supply goes down, then demand goes up and price goes up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I want to mention here also that Bitcoin is the water that lifts all other cryptocurrencies. So if it goes up, everything else pretty much goes up too.
Exactly.
And I'm curious if you know the technical issue with this. You said that it's halvening, it halves by half. But if there's a supply of 21 million, so it's just going to go to zero after a few years or decades?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So once 21 million comes out, it's over. So I forgot how many halvenings are left. There's still a bunch. I think like 20 or so halvenings are left.
Hmm.
But but yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah, once that happens, there'll be no more printing of Bitcoin at that point.
Someone asks here, let's see, Danny asks, do you think that the big players on the planet Earth, the big rulers and powerful people, do they have a plan to turn off the lights, so to speak, for the place of the world, make it everything go dim, so that they can introduce this electric currency to the rest of the world? By turning off the lights, I mean, situations, not favorable situations.
Wait. Can you start over again? I'm sorry. I was reading one of my comments. Say it one more time.
Do you think that the big people in power, they want to cause havoc in society to introduce this little cryptocurrency? You think it's some sort of scheme or some uh, conspiracy or something else? You think it might have some dark
It
alternatives?
can't. To answer shortly, it can be.
Hmm.
Nobody knows. It
Hmm.
can be. So the thing about crypto is that it's public. So it really depends. This is going to depend on how you get into it. And so this is why we say to people to get off of centralized exchanges like the one that you're currently in. That's called a centralized exchange, okay? And it's also it's government regulated, okay? So, for example, the ones that I have, Kraken, Coinbase, and Crypto.com, they are legal centralized exchanges here in the United States, right? And because of that, they fall under US regulations. And so they have to follow whatever US policies are created, right? So currently the policy that's created around around crypto in the United States is that those exchanges have to report to the IRS whatever earnings they make. So outside of my control, uh, those exchanges will report every year how much earnings I made, and then I'll owe whatever those taxes are, and the IRS will expect to get paid. And that's what makes them, fall. They have to follow those regulations. There's no way around that. However, there's still some channels where you don't necessarily have to buy on a regulated exchange. There's still some unregulated exchanges out there. And if you happen to do that, um, this is not financial advice, and this may not even be true, but this is just what I heard. You might be able to buy on uncentralized, unregulated exchanges, and if you do that, you don't have to enter your personal information. Like because when you signed up, you had to put in your social probably, right? And your name and your age and your everything, right? So technically, yes, if you leave your money in that exchange and regulations change in Canada where they say, oh, not only do you have to report how much money he makes, you also have to report everything he buys with it. But like, imagine, it can get to that point, right? You never know. Um, then yeah, it could be used as a tool to basically track every move you make, and then they could also get to the point where they maybe tell the centralized exchange, okay, shut this guy off, for example. Which again is why we recommend, like, for example, I make my initial purchases on centralized exchanges, uh, but I then move my coins over to the uncentralized wallet, which the most popular one right now is MetaMask. So I highly suggest everybody to get themselves a MetaMask, and yeah, go forward from there.
So, okay, let's move on a little bit slightly to this topic here that there's a halving every 4 years. Right now, there's a bull market, and the price of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is going up. But then, after this finishes and the price starts going down, how can you make money in crypto? Do you just kind of give it up and focus on something else and wait for the bull market to come back?
Yeah, so this is where most people are going to need a mentor. So I personally, this being my first cycle, what's going to happen is there's going to be certain indicators that a professional will be able to look at and make a decision and say, well, there's two things that are going to happen. Okay, first of all, you have to have a exit strategy, number one, which again, more than likely a professional will have to explain to you how to do, but I can give you a simple idea. That is basically whenever you triple your money, you take out 1/3. Okay.
Hmm.
So anytime you triple your money, take out 1/3. That's the easiest thing I could tell you to do. And you don't need to sign up for any courses to figure that out. And then just let the rest keep growing, right? So the first time it triples, you take out your initial investment, right? So you get all your money back that you started with. And now you're basically playing for free. And then it continues to shoot up. And if it triples again, you do that and you keep going and you let it do it over and over and over again. Um, I do have to add in there that you probably do what you're going to want to, okay, you're going to want to take out not just 1/3, you're going to want to take out 1/3 plus whatever you're going to owe in taxes every time you triple your money, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So that's step one, okay? So that everybody can follow, and you'll do that basically along the way. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you think the bull run is over or not, or you don't have to guess. You just every time you triple your money, me personally, that's what I'm going to do. Every time my money triples, I'm going to take out 1/3 and whatever I owe in taxes. Um, and then when do I take the rest out? That's when you really need the professionals, because again, there's certain indicators and certain graphs and charts and on-chain data that gets used to not to guarantee, but to increase the probability that you can know when we actually reach the top of the market. And so when that time comes, when we get close to, from like, let's say June, probably from June forward, I will be signing back up to the courses that I was in, and having those guys pretty much tell me, you know, what they think the next move going forward is. So again, you're gonna want to look up Dollar Cost Crypto's YouTube channel and Cultivate Crypto YouTube channel. Subscribe to their channel, watch their lives, sign up to their courses. They have several courses. So they have quarterly courses that are, I think it's currently You know what? I'm not even gonna say the price, but it's a pretty sizable amount. Go check out their websites. You can find out, and they also have Telegram channels that you can join, and those are cheap. Those are way cheaper. You pay on a monthly basis, and you pretty much get so the big quarterly courses that last like a month or two are for more in-depth. Like they spend a month or two explaining to you everything you need to know about crypto, right? They bring in tax experts, they bring in creators of certain coins. They tell you basic strategies. They tell you a whole bunch of stuff. But then if you join their Telegram, it's more like a straightforward type of thing. They just say, hey, this is the current market condition. This might be some good moves to do, and et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I'm not exactly sure, but towards June or around that time period, I'm going to join either one of the quarterly courses, or I'll just join the uh, monthly Telegram service.
Let's talk about crypto for Islam, for Muslims. Someone comments saying that crypto is not allowed for Muslims because it involves interest. What do you think about that?
It involves interest.
Yeah, maybe Islam has some rules that you can't participate in things that ask for interest or something. I don't know. I think, anyways, it was
You know,
worth.
so I'll say this. I'll say this. I'm pretty sure that I've heard certain Muslims speak about this before, and I'll just tell you this. My current understanding is that it's going to depend on the coin that you purchase. So every coin is designed differently, okay? Some coins have no inflation, some coins have inflation built in. Um, some coins have this feature called they have a burn feature where they actually burn a certain amount of supply, which would make it deflationary. Um, some coins do have interest, but I'm pretty sure I'm not 100% sure about this. I'd have to look up more information. If you guys want to again join the Discord in my community post and also in my profile, I'll give an update on that. I don't think all cryptos have interest. Just to keep it simple, it's going to depend on what coin you purchase.
Someone
Some
asked,
do. Go
yeah,
ahead.
good. Someone asks if we can start a pump and dump coin, meme coin, like Shiva or Scary Hours podcast coin. Hey, come on, guys, everybody, buy the coin. It's going to the moon, and then we go and sell it secretly tomorrow, like one of this famous guy that rhymes with date that did this little fancy coin. So you want to do that? You want to start a meme coin? Hey, come on, guys, buy the Shiva coin. It's going to the moon, guys,
Hmm.
quick.
Yeah. So that's the
Just
funny
kidding.
part about crypto is that so there's two sectors really with crypto. There's utility. There's coins that have utility. Um, one I can give you an example. For example, is XRP. Have you heard about XRP? So a lot of people are crazy about XRP. XRP was actually my first favorite coin that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make $1 billion off of this. But I didn't buy it at the time. I wasn't making money at the time, so I didn't buy any. But when I was researching, so most, not most, so there's coins that have utility and there's coins that have no utility. Those are called meme coins. Okay. So for example, the most famous one is Doge. Let's say probably you've heard of it. There's coins like Pepe. There's coins like Bonk. There's coins like Punk, Punke or whatever. There's a whole bunch of meme coins. They're nothing. They have no utility. They have no. They don't solve any issue. They're just memes, right? Memes that go famous. Memes that go viral. Like just like any other meme, right? Like if you put a meme out there, it could be a boring meme and nobody likes it. It doesn't. Nothing happens. But it could be a funny meme that everybody's like, "Oh, I love this meme. I'm gonna share it," and it goes viral, right? So the funny thing about crypto is you can make money with either category. You can make money with the utility coins, But you can make a crap ton of money also with the meme coins, because if a meme ends up going viral, a meme coin goes viral, then it'll pop off. Um, so to answer your question about, oh, can we just go ahead and create a meme coin? It's all going to depend on your influence, right? Your status online, basically. So that person who you said that rhymes with date, he has a lots of influence, and so his coin, it's still yet to be seen. There's a lot of factors that are going to influence what his coin actually ends up doing. The biggest one is his current legal situation. So if he ends up going away for some time, then his coin will probably also go away, and you might lose a lot of money. But let's say you're in it now, because I think it's currently at a low. Let's say you get into it now, and let's just say for whatever reason he gets lucky and he ends up winning his case. Guaranteed that, well, I'm not going to say guaranteed. I take that back. Take that back completely. Not financial advice, but I'd be willing to bet that if he won his legal situation, that his coin would explode at that point, and then people could make a crap ton of money off of that. But in terms of me and you creating a meme coin, I mean, what do we have between us? 5,000 followers. I don't think nothing would happen with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So to add to that, for example, you know that the guy who creates electric vehicles, right? He's a proponent of Dogecoin, for example. And anytime he mentions anytime he does a tweet or an X post about Dogecoin, the price skyrockets, right? And because currently he's going to be part of the incoming president's team, the price of Dogecoin pretty much tripled within the last couple of months. And one, it's because obviously, you know, that guy who makes electric vehicles is now going to be, he's going to have a lot of power. Actually, even his net worth, I think, tripled since he joined the incoming president's team. So he's going to have massive influence, right? And then I don't know if this is a joke or what, but so the incoming president put him, okay, I have to give you a little background story here for everybody. So you know that this guy who makes electric vehicles, he bought Twitter, right? You understand that. Okay. So he bought Twitter on the basis that he felt that it was a public platform that was practicing too much censorship, right? And so he bought it, basically promising to make it a free speech platform. But one interesting that he did was that when he bought it, the company was actually losing money. And so what he did, and one thing that he's kind of famous for, what he did at the time is he went in, and as soon as he went in, like 40% of the employees quit for several reasons. Some for political reasons, some because he also made a mandate where, at the time, I think Twitter had a rule where you were allowed to work from home, and he removed that rule. He said everybody has to come back to the office. So like something like 40 or I don't know, some amount of employees just quit. And he had no problem with that. He said, bye, I don't care. He was completely unbothered. And then he also fired a significant amount. And so I think, if I'm not mistaken, the company currently is running with, I think, 20% the amount of the employees that it used to have. And it's still running flawlessly. It's still running the same as it did before with 20% of the employees. So basically, the incoming president of the United States recognized him as a person who is good at creating efficiency within systems. Okay? Does that make sense? So what he decided to do was put him as part of his cabinet. Essentially, he's going to give him a position within the U.S. government to do the same thing in the U.S. government. So basically, like fire like 50% of the employees and keep the same level of productivity. So he's going to look for inefficiencies and he's going to rectify those by, just getting rid of a bunch of positions, maybe a bunch of agencies, maybe get rid of a bunch of researchers. Like, I don't know if you've ever looked into this type of stuff, but like the government spends billions of dollars on. Anyway, let me whatever. The government's great. The government's amazing. Anyway, so what he said though, what this guy who makes electric vehicles said though, that department that he's going to be heading up is going to be the Department of Government Efficiency. Does that make sense?
Doge. Yeah.
Yeah, so he decided. So when it was officially announced that he was going to be part of he was going to get a role in the government, he said, "Yeah, my role in the government is my department is going to be called Department of Government Efficiency."
Wow.
Yes, I'll let you know. So yeah, Doge. So there's a lot to be, there's a lot to contemplate there, right? Everybody, you could think of it, you could say that's a joke, that's a coincidence. That could actually mean something crazy, right? Because he actually in the past had said many things about Doge, but then he kind of stopped talking about it for a while. And so people weren't really sure. Like they were like, did he forget about it? Did he move on to something else? But then when he recently said, when he made that statement, he made that tweet, he said, "Oh yeah, the Department of Government." Everybody's like, "Oh, he's still with us." It kind of like a wink to the community. Does that make sense? And so that's why the price has been going up because of that. I forgot what your initial question was, but yeah. Oh, yeah, it was about meme coins and influence.
Do you think that these meme coins have a potential of becoming useful in the future? Has that ever happened in history?
So basically, Dogecoin, the funny thing about it is that it was just a copy of another coin that did have you did it was a copy of a coin that did have utility. So most coins are basically open source. So you're able to look up the code and see how it was created. Um, and that's one of the things that makes it, what would you call it? What's the word, Chief, I'm looking for?
I
The
don't
fact
know.
that it's open source.
Mm,
That gives people trust.
oh.
Let's put it that way, right?
Mhm.
It's a green flag. Because before you invest in it, if you know what you're doing, you can look at the source code and you can see, okay, how is this thing programmed? Is it going to steal my money? Is it going to whatever, right? So you can look at it. And because it's open source, you can also copy it. And so that's what Doge did initially. I forgot what coin it was. I think it was this coin called Litecoin, which basically Litecoin, if my understanding is that it was created with utility of being fast and efficient and cheap to make transactions with. And so only thing that Dogecoin did was just copy that coin, like just copy the source code for it, and then I think it may have made a couple modifications to it, and then all they did was just make a meme around it, and they released it. And then for some reason the meme popped off. I don't know the story for it because I wasn't into crypto during that time, but for some reason it went viral. People made a bunch of money off of it. But so this is how it started. At one point, Elon said he himself looked at the source code and he liked it. He actually said, "Wow, this has good source code behind it." And the guys who made the copy actually made some pretty good improvements to it. And he said, "It'd be interesting. It'd be an interesting proposition for me to send some of my engineers to work with the Dogecoin engineers and make even more improvements to it." And so there was some conversations that started happening between his engineers and their engineers. I think allegedly, let's say allegedly. I'm not 100% sure about this, but it seemed like that's what was going on. And so To answer your question, yes. That's one of the biggest speculations that is out there currently is that Elon will eventually make Dogecoin will increase its utility and then end up using it possibly on his platform, and then making it possible for other people to use it on other platforms as well.
How safe is this crypto? How safe are these coins? Because you hear horror stories of people losing their money because of some wallet. Well, that's understandable, but the coins themselves, how safe is this whole crypto game?
So again, that's going to depend on a lot of factors. One of them is going to be, for example, the country that you're living in, right? So, want to name this country?
Yeah, this Asian country, they decided.
Yeah. Okay. So there was this country that made it illegal out of nowhere, right? And so if you got caught holding it, then you were, I don't know what the ramifications were for it, but that makes it unsafe in that situation. So if you don't trust your country, so if you live in a totalitarian type of country, then that's one potential for um you know it not being safe. But then again, I told you there's ways that you could allegedly get around that. So I've heard. Um, but anyway, when that happened, the price did tank when that certain country did that, because it lost a majority. That's a very big country with a lot of people in it, and so there was a lot of the buyers went away, right? People who don't want to be illegal, and that made the price drop. So that's one risk factor. The other risk factor is, again, these coins are made by very intelligent people most of the time. And so it's kind of like when you go to the mechanic, right? You go to the mechanic and you're like, "Hey, I'm here for my yearly checkup." And they can tell you whatever they want, and if you're not a mechanic, you're not, what are you going to know, right? So the same thing could happen with crypto, right? Like, again, these coins are made by programmers, computer programmers, software developers, people who write code. And so again, if you don't know how to read code and you go into some unknown cryptocurrency that's new and hasn't been vetted by the by the majority of people, then it could be risky in that sense as well. Um, and then again, along the same point, if the source code is janky or poorly designed or whatever, then you have the potential for hackings to happen, or for there to be some sort of a malfunction in the code that would cause a shutdown of the system. Another one is, let's say, the exchange that you currently hold your currency in. Um, all the time, this happens even in the States. The governmental body, which I will not name, that currently regulates markets in the United States, they frequently take these exchanges to court for several factors. And so if your current exchange gets taken to court by whatever governmental body runs in your country, and they end up getting shut down, um, you really don't know what's going to happen in your coins in that point, because technically, if you hold your coins in that exchange, if they get shut down, they may just declare bankruptcy and keep your coins, and nothing bad will happen to them, essentially, right? It'll be up to the governmental body to decide how they give that back. So like there was one in the United States that happened, which again I won't name, but like they got sued, they lost, they got shut down. Every single person who had their coins on that exchange lost all their money. And I think it was like 10 years ago, and just recently it was ruled that that company had to start paying people back. but you never know. Like I said, it just depends on the exchange that you're in. Some exchanges they may not go to court. They may just run, right? The founder may just run away with your coins and hide in, some faraway island or whatever. You don't know, right? And so that's why we always tell people get off of centralized exchanges. Put your crypto in your own personalized wallet. So there's software wallets like MetaMask, the most popular one, and then there's hardware wallets, which is even safer. So MetaMask is a software wallet, which basically means it's still connected to the computer, which means it's still connected to the internet. And so even though it's safer than being on a centralized exchange, it's not as safe as being on a hardware wallet, because if you transfer your coins to a hardware wallet, then all you have to do is unplug it from the computer, and then now it's no longer on the internet. Does that make sense? Yeah. So just to give you an idea, and then on the same note as that, this is what has made Bitcoin, for example, the most popular, widely accepted, safest coin, because its code has been it's been vetted, right? It's been time tested, and basically it's gotten to the point now where, so I don't want to get too technical here, but in order to hack something like Bitcoin, it requires computing power. Okay, so you would essentially have to run very, very, very large supercomputers to be able to hack it. Okay, and that would require a certain amount of energy to be able to hack it. And Bitcoin has gotten to the point now where there's actually not enough power in the world for you to be able to have enough supercomputers, or to have enough power to run the amount of supercomputers that would require to hack it.
I have a gaming PC. It's quite powerful. I can run games, I can stream, I can do whatever, thanks to my brother. So, is it possible for me to mine Bitcoin or mine any kind of currency and make any side revenue?
So this is going to depend on the coin, but most coins actually require you to pay to become a miner. So Bitcoin, you would have to pay a very large amount to become a miner. So that I would say no, it doesn't really matter on the size of your or your computer power. And also with Bitcoin, because of the fact that it's so large, so it was, and this is also part of why Bitcoin supply is always getting halved, because every halvening, it requires more computing power to mine Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin, for example, because it's so large at this point now, the computing power that's required is basically unattainable for a regular person. Only large companies can really afford to do it, or like rich people, whatever, etc. But to answer your question, you could do it with smaller coins. There's smaller coins that you could mint currently or mine that would cost less. They charge less to become a miner, and also the amount of computing power required to mine and mint coins is a lot less.
Hmm.
So you can just do some research on that.
Someone asked me how I personally feel about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. I don't really feel much about it. It feels like a game. I want to build my life and invest in things that actually bring value to people. Well, Bitcoin also brings value and cryptocurrency brings value, but these meme coins is like a game. You buy low, you sell high, and have you done anything useful for society? Well, you could argue. So it's an avenue to make money. That's just how I see it, and I want to become more skilled at it. I want to invest more money into this. I want to put more money into my trading platform, so that when the opportunity arises in the future, oh, cryptocurrency or oh, Bitcoin or Dogecoin, I can take advantage of the waves as they go up and down. There's no reason why I should miss out. Especially, it's pretty easy. It's a pretty easy way to kind of source money, or you can say gamble. But yeah, that's how I feel. So no doubt it'll be the future. I see it's just progressing and it's going to become more powerful and more technology is going to be invested in this. And in the future, I'm pretty certain that you're going to take out your phone, you're going to say, oh, I want to pay with Bitcoin. It's just the same as you're paying with credit cards or whatever you're paying with right now. So the potential is always there. And some spiritual people also saying that cryptocurrency is the future because it bypasses so many physical barriers and is decentralized, whatever that means. And yes, so you focus your attention on this, no doubt. But which cryptocurrency is it going to be? Is it going to be Dogecoin? There's a very good likelihood, very good chance that that is, because it's backed by Elon Musk, one of the smartest individuals, or the people that's taking people to space. So it's also kind of funny. It's a funny coin, and now he's going to be in the presidential seat, so to speak, or close to him. And yeah, so definitely more money needs to be invested in this, more energy needs to be reinvested in this. And I'm curious about you, Carlos. What do you think? Is this the future? Is cryptocurrency the future, or is it just some quick fad to make money and then get out and live the rest of your life?
I personally think it is the future. It's one thing I am very concerned about is that crypto is most crypto, especially Bitcoin, is like essentially taking a stance against, who can I say?
Yeah, good point. The system, the
It's
matrix.
taking it's taking a stance against that large entity, right? And I don't know how far they're willing to go to ensure that they don't lose their position. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in that sense, I think that that's kind of scary, right? Because let's say if if they feel like they're losing their power, you don't know what they could do. They could like, you know what I mean? They could put themselves into bunkers and then wreck us all. You know what I'm saying? So you never know. Um, on the other hand, though, it's because of that exact reason that I support it, because it's basically our only way out of the matrix. Let's put it
Yeah,
that way.
yeah.
It's our only way out of the matrix, and so I'm with it for that purpose. Basically, that's why I support it. And so, just so that everyone understands, the coin that you ultimately want to have is Bitcoin, um, because it is the safest and it actually is the one that is going to be adopted the fastest by countries. And it'll eventually, like I said, it will eventually run out of supply, and then you won't be able to get any more. And you definitely want to at least have some while you still can. But so the way to play the game though is, because it does you're not gonna 100x your money on it, right? At this point anymore, you can only depending on what happens, obviously, but for the most likelihood in this current 4 year cycle, you'll probably at the most double or triple your funds. Again, allegedly, not financial advice. What we would do is we would go into the riskier coins. Maybe let's say you just how happen to 10x your money. You sell at the peak, and then you take that money, you wait for Bitcoin to crash, and then you use that money to buy Bitcoin, and then you just hold that for the rest of, like, you never let that go. You just hold that till eternity. Or you use a percentage to buy Bitcoin, and then you use another percentage to get back into the game for the next 4 year cycle. Um, I hope that answers your question. I
Mm.
have a super chat I got to answer. I didn't know I could get super chats on live, but that's awesome. Or on live on shorts, but I guess I can. So I got a super chat here from Rizzo 529. Shout out to Big Riz. Rizzo says, "Hey Los and Shiva. There are some profitable coins out there that you can mine with a GPU or a CPU. The pool fees are about 1 to 5%. You should look up Zealous and Aleo, is what he's saying. Zealous is XELIS, and the other one is Aleo, ALEO. That's another one. So yeah, like I said, yeah, there's coins out there that are just getting started, and they want to incentivize people to mine their coins, to mint their coins, and so yeah, they'll make it pretty accessible for you to do so. Another ones that I would recommend personally, again, not financial advice, do your own research. Everything we say is a lie. Is PLS, PLSX, PHEX, anything basically made by Richard Hart. Because his coins are currently low, because he's currently in a legal situation with that government body from the United States. And so his coins are pretty low for that reason. But his projects in the past have made people lots and lots of money. And currently I'm not gonna say that word again, his legal situation is looking favorable. People who have been attending the hearings have all noted that the judge seems to be taking his side, and he's actually hired 11 of the world's best lawyers to fight this case. And like I said, it looks like he's gonna win. And so again, that would be another one I would look into, possibly, if you want to get into the mining game. I would look into that one as well, because if he wins his case, that there's a chance that will go
Yeah,
to the moon.
that's funny.
Not financial advice.
If you're some rich guy, you do something wrong, well, there's wrong and then there's wrong. You did something wrong. Hire 11 lawyers, tank the system, find every single loophole. That's so funny. I would do that. That's like,
Well, that's the thing though, is that it's not proven that he did anything wrong. He's being accused of doing something wrong.
right, right. Well,
And
let's,
his stand.
yeah. Continue.
So I'll give you this as a reference point. Again, that governmental body in the States has taken many crypto people through legal actions, and that governmental body has lost many of the cases. So it's mainly just because they're against crypto as a whole. And that's another thing that the incoming president has promised, is to get rid of that guy who runs that agency currently, and put somebody who's pro crypto in. And so when that happens, again, another reason to moon and skyrocket.
Yeah. Trump promised that when he gets
Bump. Let's call him Bump.
yeah, when this guy said he's gonna get into the office, he's gonna tariff the countries that are his neighbors. So the country in the north and the country in the south. 25%, hey, just 25% tax. We didn't really care. And the country in the north, at least, they started preparing. Okay, well, so let's start creating the war room. They said we're creating the war room for economic warfare. And before the guy even gets in, he's already facing some backlash, and I'm not sure he thinks these things through, but it's not good for me
Oh,
either.
you said tariffs. You said
Yeah,
tariff.
tariffs,
Okay,
tariffs.
yeah, tariff thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, so along with the tariffs, I think personally, honestly, to be honest with you, I think it's just a negotiating tactic that he's employing. So that's the thing about Trump. Let me say that name. That's the thing about Bump. Bump. I saw this interview from him one time, and this is one thing that people don't. I don't think everybody saw this interview. But he was called out one time by an interviewer, and he said, you get caught in a lot of lies. Uh, like, what's up with that? Basically, what the interviewer said. And Bump's answer was, he was like, "Yeah, I lie a lot." And the guy was like, "Well, why would you do that? Like, what the heck's wrong with you?" And he's like, "Because," he was comparing him to the guy before him, the uh, the African American gentleman who was very well spoken and polite and well mannered and always told the truth, et cetera, et cetera. And what he said was, he said, think about this for a second. He said, I am the leader of the world's most powerful nation, right? And we have many enemies and many countries who would love nothing more than to bring us down, right? And so he said, do I want to publicize all of my moves like on TV? And do I want to become what would you call it? Do I want to
Transparent?
become huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
transparent.
do I want to be transparent all the time or do I want to be predictable is what he said. He said absolutely not. He said I want other countries to see me as a liar, as predictable, as somebody who might change their mind at a moment's notice because it puts me in a better negotiating position. And when you saw the way he ran his last term, I think it was very clear that his what you call it, his strategy played out. Pretty much, he went all the way all over the world and dealt with leaders, and he got. I mean, from what I saw, he got nothing but respect from all of them because everybody was like, "This guy's a wild card. We don't like he could just press the button. You know, I don't know. Like he's crazy." And but he actually wants that. You get what I mean? I forgot what the initial question was.
Tariffs, but it wasn't really a question. I'm making a statement. Yeah. So, um, someone is
Oh yeah, topic. So yeah, just give me a second. While I'll talk until you come back. You're still lagging a little bit. So with the tariff situation, we don't know. Like he said that publicly, yes, but again, he could change his mind at any moment, and he could also just be using that as a negotiating tactic. And the funny thing about it is that, for example, this is not his first time doing that. He put in tariffs last time he was in office, and if the opposing party really hated the tariffs that he
I don't know if it's me lagging or Carlos. I think it is me. Not good.
put in place, I was all kind of yeah, I don't know. Mine's also pretty much gone at this point.
Yeah, I'm still going.
You're still going? Do
Yeah.
you see me or am I
Yes.
frozen?
I can see it.
Okay, I think I'm back. Okay. He says, gotta run soon. Have a fun stream. I mine crypto as a hobby. You'll have to look into CPU, GPU, and ASIC mining. Get a mini Doge 3 miner. I have one. Yeah. So shout out to Big Riz. Thank you, Big Riz, for the $5 again. Yeah. I don't know. You still look lag. We're both lag. I'm lagging bad. I don't know. It must be my connection, I guess.
I think this is pretty much the conclusion.
Yeah, we could end it here if you want.
Yeah. So you said he did tariffs and what to finish your point?
So yeah, so he did three. I think he did 3 rounds of tariffs on that one country last time, and the incoming, like the people who came after him, Sleepy and his vice president, they could have just taken them off if they thought it was that bad, but they didn't. Those tariffs are still in place.
Hmm.
And so their claim is that, oh, it's going to raise prices and it's going to ruin the economy. Then why didn't they just take off his previous tariffs? And they didn't. So I would actually not. I would not undermine the incoming president's intelligence in this matter and just let things play out. See what happens with them.
All right. Well, with that being said, I think this is the end. This is the conclusion of our podcast about crypto. Like this video, follow me, follow my friend Carlos, Scary Hours Podcast. Join our Discord, it'll be in the description. Buy my spiritual beads, very spiritual. And yeah, tune in next time when we're doing a live answer. We'll answer your questions. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Last
Got you
words with
next
you.
one. Thank you guys. I
Thank you.
appreciate everybody. Yeah, join like he said. Hit like, subscribe, comment. Join the Discord for sure. Check in the community post, check in the profile section, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yep. Peace.